it going, guys? Okay, so it's pretty late here. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, but I just saw Captain America Civil War about 3 or 4 hours ago. Well, we got finished with it 3 or 4 hours ago. It's a very long movie. I kind of wanted to give my spoiler thoughts and what have you review right now, my knee jerk thoughts and review. So this is going to be pretty spoiler heavy, of course. So if you haven't seen it, don't watch this. Do not watch this. Please do not watch this. Or go ahead, do that. Watch this. Or just go watch the movie and come back. I'll be here. I'll still be here. I'll be here for you. I understand if you haven't seen this movie because all the shows were sold out. My girlfriend had to get there at 11 o'clock this morning because she lives right by the movie theater. So she went ahead and got our tickets. And then for 5 o'clock. But when we got there at 5 o'clock, all the shows for the rest of the night until tomorrow were sold out. So it's that big of a movie. This is that big of a deal. It feels like that big of a fight. The build-up's been tremendous. And all I have to say is wow. I think this movie clocks in at 2 hours and 30 minutes. And it uses every single second to its advantage. This movie's a behemoth, man. There's no other way to describe it. There's just so much going on. Like I said, spoilers. So nobody dies. Well, Agent Carter dies. Peggy Carter dies. She dies at the beginning of the movie, not from anybody attacking, because why would they attack an old woman? Come on. No, she dies in her sleep. So that's pretty much the turn of the movie, and it's pretty early in the movie. Is that they're having this struggle between should we sign these accords, should we not sign these accords, and Captain America has to go to the funeral. Steve Rogers has to go to the funeral of Agent Carter, and you kind of see the turn when Agent 13, I believe her name is. I think that's her name. Peggy Carter's niece says that there's some instances where you have to stand your ground, and you really see it in Steve Rogers' eyes that's okay. That's where it's turning on. This is the fight that he's gonna fight, and nobody's gonna sway him from his opinion. But I was very disappointed that no one else died, because when you think of Civil War, you think of the brutality, and yeah, trust me, this movie's brutal. This movie is brutal for what it is, and Disney movie, but this movie is brutal. I don't know if it's as brutal as The Winter Soldier. I kind of want to say it is. But I mean, right off the get-go, you kind of see the impact of these superhumans' powers, and you kind of see how brutal they are. Period. But I mean, we don't get any characters dying. Now, granted, in the books, there's a lot more characters to have available to die. In these movies, it's kind of like, well, you're playing with $1 million movies, possibly, $1 billion movies. If you kill Black Widow, you're going to have a revolt on your hands because we haven't even gotten that movie yet. A lot of people thought Hawkeye should have died, or thought that Hawkeye should have died in Age of Ultron. A lot of people were disappointed that he didn't, but I mean, we had one more death in that than we did in this movie, and it's just weird. It's weird to think of because of the correlation between the comics and this movie. Again, that's just a very little nitpicky thing that I have, that I walked away out of the movie saying, I feel like there would have been more added to the future of these movies if somebody would have died here. But then again, I could see somebody dying from the results of this movie in Infinity War Part 1, or even in Black Panther, or Doctor Strange, or something like that. But back to this movie. It did what it was supposed to do very well, in that it opened up the doors to a lot of different things. First off, you open up the door to Spider-Man, and my God, Spider-Man is amazing in this movie. Do not get me wrong when I say that Spider-Man and possibly Giant Man were the best parts of this movie. Just the way Spider-Man is portrayed really reminds you of that 90s TV show, the 90s animated show, and that is what I grew up loving Spider-Man on, was that. And this really kind of stays true to that, younger version of Spider-Man that you really, really wanted to see. And I think it's probably the best one we'll ever get. And very innocent. The back and forth between him and Tony Stark is perfect in every single way, in my opinion. Of course, he joins Tony Stark's team because of Tony Stark rebuilding his suit. He's already been Spider-Man for 6 months. We learned that. So kind of we just fast forward through his, origin story just by that. We already knew he got bit by a spider because he's kind of dancing around that subject. And he kind of dances around the entire topic. But the thing between him and Tony is really interesting because we know that Tony Stark is going to be in Spider-Man Homecoming, which is very, very interesting seeing their back and forth in this movie. We get to see more of that in his own standalone movie, which is really freaking cool. Excuse me. But yeah, he joins their team, but then again, you have Ant-Man joining Cap's team. So it kind of makes, the odds a little bit better because Iron Man doesn't even know who Ant-Man is. And it stated that in a joke, but I mean, it's true, We don't know that Iron Man knows who Ant-Man is. We only know that Falcon and that Captain America do, but that's only because of Falcon seeing Ant-Man in Ant-Man's movie. We don't know if anybody else knows who the hell Ant-Man is. So it's very valid when that joke is made, but it is also possibly very true that nobody knows who else Scott Lang is, even though that the former Ant-Man was friends or nemesis or foes or friendly bros, who knows what they were, with Tony Stark's father. Now, like I said, it was just a nitpicky thing about the whole other characters dying. Spider-Man was the coolest part of the movie by far. Ant-Man was pretty cool with him turning into Giant Man, saying that, I've tried this in a lab before, but it was for like 5 seconds and then I passed out. That was very funny. His comedic timing's on point, as always. You gotta love Paul Rudd, and who doesn't love Paul Rudd these days? I mean, his comedic timing is just always on point, especially in these movies when it hinges on it the most. Sebastian Stan, man, he really came out in this movie, and as much as you want to hate and loathe the character of the Winter Soldier, and as much as you want to be like, God, I wish he would just leave, you gotta feel for him because in this movie, he is the one that is getting hurt the most. He really is put under, he's really getting the shit. He is the victim, and in all accounts, he is the victim in this movie because he's being used nonstop to do malicious things, and the fact is that he has to live with that. And that's one of the things that I love about this movie is that every character has to live with what they're doing. And you kind of see that at the beginning when what's her name? Scarlet Witch. When Scarlet Witch throws Frank Grillo up in the air and blasts an entire building, you kind of see that she has to live with that for the rest of her life because she killed those people. She killed people in a building that were innocent people, and she did that, and she knows that. She could have prevented that, but she didn't. She willingly threw him up there with a bomb strapped around him, and he blowing up an entire floor of a building. And you see that at the beginning of this movie, and you see that that's an underlying theme, is that consequences have to be dealt with, and that just keeps on getting hit and hit and hit back with you. And then also the thing that we see at the beginning of the movie is that Sebastian Stan's Winter Soldier, Bucky, shall I say, he gets this car off the road, and you don't know whose car it is. You can't see the car's name, but it's obvious that you should pay attention to this part of the movie because you see that the car is being diverted, and then it hits a tree or hits like a road barrier or something. And Bucky's on a motorcycle, but you can tell he's like in a trance, so he's being controlled by Hydra or the government or something, because honestly, who even know who the hell is controlling him anymore? But I believe it was Hydra. So once that happens, he gets some plastic bags, and apparently this is serum for more super soldiers that this person had. And this is the big spoiler, so if y'all don't want to know, don't fast forward. Fast forward to the end. Don't watch anymore. Come back. I'll be here. I promise I'll be here. I'll be here. Go. Okay, hey, welcome back. I don't even know if you left. Anyway, the person in the car was Tony Stark's dad. And we see that later on at the ending of the movie. And this is actually where, they punch for a bit and then they're friends. Fight for a bit, then they're friends. So after the entire sequence of basically the Civil War, we see that Iron Man admits that he was wrong. Tony Stark admits that he was wrong, that Bucky Barnes wasn't behind anything that's been going on, and it was all Baron Zemo, which he didn't play a huge role in this movie, but he played a big enough role where you have to keep your eye on him at least. He's like a little gnat in the wall that you keep your eye on. But so you see that Iron Man goes and he's trying to correct his wrongs. He's trying to say, okay, my bad. I screwed up. I didn't believe Steve. I didn't believe Bucky, blah, blah, blah. So he goes to where we started the movie, which is where Baron Zemo's gone, to where all these other super soldiers are hidden, and they're all frozen like stages, and they got cryogenic freeze, I think that's what it's called. So they're cryogenically frozen, and like Sebastian Stan was when he was reanimated. Excuse me. And I guess his plan is to either lure them there, or I guess reanimate the people. I don't understand, because when Steve and Bucky show up, all of the super soldiers are shot, I believe through the head and then through the chest, possibly through the heart. I don't understand what that was about. I really don't get it. It didn't make a lot of sense, because it would have made more sense to reanimate them and to use them. But I guess if he didn't have their passwords to kind of like reconstruct their mind, then there wouldn't be a need to. So he would need to go ahead and get rid of them. But then you see Iron Man show up after Cap and Bucky are there, and he basically calls a truce. And it's very interesting, because you knew something else was going to happen. You knew something big was going to happen. We haven't had that big fight. We had the airport fight, but it wasn't big. It wasn't humongously huge, and it didn't mean anything. But then you see Baron Zemo behind a glass pane that says, okay, well, this can hold 100 missiles. You can't get me. Like, I'm behind here, not in the boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo. And then you see Cap, and you see Buck, and you re-see the beginning of the movie where where this crash took place. And you see Bucky go to the front door, pull out a man, and it's Tony Stark. And he's crawling, and then he picks him up. And Tony Stark's dad looks up, and he looks up, and Bucky smashes his face in. And I was, what just happened? Like, what just happened? Like, that didn't just happen on screen. I looked at my girlfriend, and I was like, can you believe that? Like, what? Like, and she didn't really know who that was, because I had explained it to her. Because that they referenced it in the movie, but it's kind of grainy when they show it to you, and it's kind of really fast paced too. And how Tony Stark's dad looks in the movies has changed, and I know they used two different actors at one point, but I was like, wow, he just punched his face in, like his face just collapsed, and then he's dead, and then he just places him back on the steering wheel like it's an accident, like he hit his head and had a contusion and he died. And then he walks over to the passenger side where his wife is. And this is what really sets Tony Stark off, because if you've seen the other movies and you kind of know where this movie's coming from, you know that Tony Stark has a very strained relationship with his dad. And it's more so his mom that's the catalyst for him just going apeshit after we see what happens. And it's kind of his mom that's, I guess, the saving grace of Tony Stark. But we see Bucky go over to the passenger side, open the car door, stick his bare hand, not his metal hand, his bare hand, his human hand in the car, not his metal arm, his human hand, shoves it on Tony Stark's mom's neck. And then the camera pans up to Bucky's face staring at the camera. And that is surreal. That is devastating. And you see Tony Stark's eyes, and you see his face, and you see his mannerisms, and you feel his pain, because that's his mom. He's watching his mom die. He just saw his dad. Yeah, granted, he didn't give a shit about his dad, but he just saw his dad die at the hands of somebody who he was literally fighting against up until 5 minutes ago, and he just made a truce. And he looks over to Captain America and he says, "Did you know about this?" And then, Captain America says, "Well, I didn't know he did it." And then Tony looks at him and he says, "Did you know about this? Do not lie to me." And Captain America says, "Yes, I knew." Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. No. Okay, because up until this point, I haven't been with both of them. I was like, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from. I understand where Tony's coming from because I completely get it. I completely get why you need to be put in check. I understand where Captain America's coming from because you could be used for anything. You could be used for militarization purposes. You could be used against your will. But that's just unraveling everything right there. Because Captain America knew that Bucky killed his parents, killed Tony Stark's parents. Not only that, but didn't tell Tony and didn't stick up for Tony when shit just hit the fan after the fact because he got pissed, tried to go after Winter Soldier, but Captain America stopped him. And that's probably the biggest thing that I didn't understand is why is Cap stopping Tony? Not only that, but why is he not getting in the middle of it, still holding his friend accountable? Because yes, he didn't have any control of that, but at the same time, he remembers that. He remembers the screaming pains of everyone that he's caused damage to. Bucky doesn't seem remorseful in that moment of killing Tony's parents at all. Matter of fact, when Tony asks him, "Do you remember while they're still fighting?" he says, "Yes, I remember every single one of them." There's no emotion to that. There's no emotion. I didn't feel any emotion. I felt like he meant that. Like he remembers it and he holds that to his heart. I may be wrong, but in the heat of the moment, that's what it sounded like. That's what it felt like. I don't know. It was really, really cold, man. That was a very. I mean, you kind of knew where the twist was going because you saw everything lead up to that point. You kind of saw where it was going. I didn't know it was going to happen that way, that hardcore, because that is hardcore, man. That's gut wrenching. But yeah, so it turns out that it doesn't even end in somebody winning or somebody standing tall. In my eyes, it ended like it was even. The movie ends like it was even, and I know I've left a bunch of stuff out, but I just kind of want to get to the beginning and the end. The middle is kind of, there's a bunch of different shit going on, and this video would take 4 hours to go through that. But I just kind of wanted to hit the big plot point of that's what happened and that's what ended up happening. But after that, it's basically we have T'Challa, or Black Panther, who of course is great in this movie. Absolutely love this character. Chadwick Boseman plays a beast of a character, and I cannot wait to see this movie. I think I'm more excited of this movie than I am Doctor Strange now. Which even though we had the preview beforehand, I feel like I connect with T'Challa because we just saw his origin story, but we saw it in more of a group setting, and I like that. I love that. They should do that more with movies like this. We should have the origin story in a different movie and then have a solo story somewhere else. But I digress. Back to the ending of the movie. So the ending of the movie sees that T'Challa is talking with Baron Zemo, and you learn that Baron Zemo is listening to a recording of his dead family from, it's not Wakanda. I think it might be Wakanda. No, it's not Wakanda. I can't remember wherever they were at in Age of Ultron, where they brought the city up and the city dropped. So it turns out that Baron Zemo's wife and child were killed, and it seems like a lot of people from that movie, like I said, they're having to go back and take what they did in that movie, and they're living with that now because people are coming back from then and saying that, look, my son died, my child died because of what you did, because the Avengers came to save the day, then they left, but they didn't have to stay there for the aftermath, and they're now having to live with the aftermath, which is fantastic. I love that. I love that they have to do that, that they're addressing that. But you learn that Baron Zemo's wife and child, he's been listening to a recording of, his wife saying goodbye, good night, saying that his kid's tucked into bed and that she loves him, and it's really gut wrenching once you find out that that's a recording and that they died. And you really see this conflicted character because there's nothing worse than having a bad guy that you can actually relate to, and not even relate to, because I don't have a dead wife or kid. I don't understand what that is like, but you understand his confliction. You understand his motive, if you will, because he doesn't want to bring a nation down. He doesn't. I mean, essentially, he does. I mean, let's not get that wrong. He does want to see that happen, but he wants to tear the Avengers from the inside out, and he's accomplished that. And that's something that's sticking later on in this movie too, once we get towards the end. But once he's saying that and he's talking to T'Challa, and of course T'Challa takes him down because he pulls out a gun on T'Challa before he says his goodbye. He doesn't take out. He's taking a gun to himself, I think. Yeah, he's trying to kill himself. He's trying to commit suicide. T'Challa doesn't let him. T'Challa puts him in a rest hold, and I think either falls asleep or we just cut to black or something. Because T'Challa is like, the living aren't done with you yet, which is great. That's a great line. I love that. But then we see Captain America and we see Iron Man fighting, and by this point, Winter Soldier's arms ripped off because he's tried to get the I can't remember what this is called, the pulse reactor, arc reactor, out of Tony's chest, but he does a little beam that bursts, and it basically destroys Bucky's arm, and Bucky's on the ground. He's pretty much spent. He's not dead. He's just spent, and Captain America and Iron Man are going at it, and then you see this awesome glimpse of Captain America doing his pulses out of his hand, and you see Cap with a shield, and it's right next to each other, and you see all this little sparks, and it's so fucking cool. That's so fucking cool. You should, oh my god, everybody should see that once in their life because that's so damn cool. And at that point, you're just like getting like a little schoolgirl because you're like, I never thought I'd get to see that on a movie. And that's so freaking ass cool. I wish they would do that over and over again. I wish I had a replay button right here in the movie theater. Just replay that over and over and over again. That's so damn cool. But at the end of it, Bucky grabs onto Iron Man's leg and holds him, and then Captain America gets the upper hand basically, and it looks like Captain America's about to chop his damn head off, but instead he sticks his shield in the arc reactor, and the arc reactor just stops. So in a way, nobody really won, nobody really lost, because you could still say that, well, Iron Man was still there, and if he would have had another suit, he could have got back in it. But you could also say Captain America could have just killed Iron Man. But the thing is that once Captain America starts walking away, because of course he's going to walk away with his even tail between his legs, or head held high, whichever one you want to say. Tony's like, that shield doesn't belong to you. My father built that shield. I'll let you know that Captain America drops the shield. And that is like a little bit of respect towards Tony's dad. And that was really touching. Kind of like wow. Like, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're not wrong. You're definitely right. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much that. And you cut to the next scene, and it's Baron Zemo in a little prison chamber, and he's being interrogated, and it's like, what did you think you were gonna do? Did you think you were gonna get away with it? Blah blah blah. It was great to see you fail dramatically in such fantastic form. And he just looks at him. He's like, did I? You're like, whoa. Did he? I think he's right. Because not only that, but he laid the groundwork for, and that's what I loved about this movie, because it makes you think. And I think that's what I love about all the Captain America movies, because they make you think, man. It's not just a one-off of, oh, shoot him up and then we're done, next villain. Shoot him up, oh, then we're done, next villain. You absolutely have to think about the consequences of this and the consequences of what just happened moving forward in the Marvel Universe. They can't trust each other. In no way, shape, or form can any of these people be trusted. Because honestly, who is it? Hawkeye can never see his family again. I mean, that's just that. Can never see his family again. Who else? Anthony Mackie's character, Falcon, Ant-Man, and then you have, I don't know if Maximoff was in there. I don't think so. But you have Captain America, which this is a great idea, because I don't know how Ant-Man's going to play after this, because that's very fine line he's walking. But then you have T'Challa, who you see bring Bucky in the post-credit scene and have him cryogenically frozen so that they can figure out how to get all this mind wipe stuff out of him. I don't even know how that's going to play out, because you don't even know who you can trust anymore in this universe. But Baron Zemo has laid the groundwork for there to be so many more disputes in the future, even in Infinity War. You don't even know if you can trust anybody. I mean, it's such a beautifully written movie with such a beautifully written consequence with outcomes. It's great. It is just phenomenal, because you do have all these questions and you don't have all the answers, and we don't need them. We don't need them yet. You just hold on. Just hold on, because that's what I feel like this movie was. It's just hold on. You think this was big? Just wait. Just wait for Infinity War. Just wait for the Infinity Gauntlet. Just wait. Just wait. Because Thanos is coming. We didn't see Thanos in this. And I don't know if we'll see him in Doctor Strange. We probably will. I don't see why we wouldn't. Although I don't even think it comes out, 2017? 2018? 2018, maybe? 2017, something like that. I don't know if we'll see. I'm pretty sure Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but I don't know when that comes out. It could be next year. I don't know my dates with all this stuff, and I should, because I'm a bad nerd if I don't. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad we didn't see Thanos. I'm glad we didn't have the Infinity Gems come into play. I'm glad it kind of was just stuck in this little tiny ball that is Earth, and it was just stuck there. It was just stuck in this little tiny ball called Earth, and that it didn't go anywhere else. And I feel like it's going to explode later on. I feel like there's more of an opportunity to, because even though they've reconciled some, you saw Captain America break everybody out of jail. You saw Iron Man have the telephone and put General Ross on hold. Of course, great, funny moment. But, while he's breaking people out of jail. And Tony Stark has a telephone to get in touch with Captain America anytime he needs them. So it seems like we have a Secret Avengers. We have the regular Avengers. Going forward, it should be very interesting. I'm very interested to see where it leads to storyline-wise. And very much so in the independent movies, because I don't know what would happen with that. Obviously, a lot of people aren't on great speaking terms. There's a lot of bad blood. I don't know. And it also begs to question, where are we at in the TV shows? Will this have any consequences on them? I don't know if it will. There have been mentions of Sokovia, is where it was, Sokovia. Of Sokovia, and I know Jessica Jones, I think, and then in Daredevil. So will this have, and Punisher, so will this have any effect on those characters at all? And if it does, what? I don't know. This movie overall, I'm just going to stop right here and wait to get my final thoughts and stuff later on, because I'm going to go watch it again. And if not, I'm going to grab the DVD as soon as it comes out, and I'll do a full DVD review with commentaries and bonus stuff, because I'm sure there was stuff that was cut out of the movie, and I really want to see that. So right now, this movie isn't the greatest of all time, isn't the greatest Marvel movie of all time. It's a great sequel to an amazing movie. Winter Soldier is probably my best favorite movie. This is a great sequel to that. A great trifecta, I guess. It's a great trilogy of Captain America movies. Honestly, if I were to give this one a score out of 10, I would say it's an incomplete score, just because I haven't had a chance to actually sit down and completely think about everything that happened and how it's going to entail in the long run of certain things. But right now, I'm definitely going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. Go see it. Go see it, just because I feel like with everybody, there's going to be a difference of opinion. And that's what I love that about movies. I love that about a lot of movies. So there's a difference of opinion of the outcome or what they could have done differently. And especially in this one, because we do love these characters so much, because we've been with them for so long. We've been with Tony Stark for so long. So to have his ideals put into question is a huge deal. And to have Captain America's ideals put into question is such a huge deal as well. And to see something so traumatic happen to a character that we've been to for such a long time is so huge that we normally don't get that opportunity to, because movie franchises don't stick around for that long, and we're not used to being with characters for that long. So it's definitely different with Iron Man and Captain America because they've been around forever, cinematically wise. I don't know. Like I said, yeah, I would give it that score. Go see the movie. Do yourself a favor. Go see this movie, even if it's sold out. Hell, we had people applaud when Ant-Man showed up. Had people shocked when Spider-Man showed up. We had people flabbergasted. I'm just using all different descriptions because why not? When T'Challa showed up, when you saw Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, and when you saw these death scenes, you had people shocked and awed. I mean, the only other movie I've been to like this was Star Wars. And I went to Star Wars opening weekend. Star Wars, it left me. Was it the last one or was it the one before that? It was not Revenge of the Sith. What am I thinking? It was The Force Awakens. I was like, wait, which one was it? No, Force Awakens. A lot of people were like, oh, look at that fight scene. Revenge of the Sith. No. Yeah, man, it's just one of those movies that you need to see with a crowd. So please, I implore you, go watch it. Watch it again. Watch it 3 times. Watch it 4 times. Watch it 5 times. Watch as many times as you can afford to go see. Don't go on my behalf because I just told you that, because I don't want you to go spend all your money on that. But I mean, go see the movie. Let me know what you think below. I loved it. I just need to think about it a little bit more. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of things I just need to think about. Plus, it's so late. I just want to get my knee-jerk reactions and thoughts about it. Yeah, let me know what you think below. Sorry I ranted a little bit. I raved a little bit. Like I said, super late. I was past 1 here. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. And like I said, let me know what you think below. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it. I implore you to. It's a great movie. And from here on out, looks like they've got a great slate of movies coming out. So I'm very interested to see where we go from here in the MCU. So, all right, guys. Well, thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.